All right, let's talk about something you do every single day. You clock in at this invisible factory. You probably don't even realize you're working, but you are. And the product they're making? Well, it's your attention. Let's jump in and see how it's all being mined.
Okay, so let's get right to the heart of it. Back in the day, during the industrial age, the whole economy was built on one single thing: physical labor, human muscle power. But today, the game has totally changed. The new economy is built on a different resource, one that's way, way scarcer: our cognitive attention. And you know what? That one fundamental shift changes absolutely everything about how we should think about our time online.
So, if our attention is the new gold, what does that make us? A miner? Well, kinda. This is where we get into our first big idea: a new kind of work. The key is to start thinking of ourselves not as users, but as workers.
Let me ask you something, and be honest with yourself. Have you ever put your phone down after, I don't know, an hour or two of scrolling and just felt completely wiped out, drained? Like you've done a full day's work, but you've got absolutely nothing to show for it? Well, there is a very real reason for that feeling. That exhaustion is real because you have been working. The source material for this calls it cognitive labor. It's all the mental effort you're putting in every single time you interact with a platform. Every click, every scroll, every like, that's a tiny little job you're doing. You're trading their algorithms, you're looking at the ads that pay their bills, and you're creating the very content that keeps everyone else hooked. It's work, and you're not getting paid for it, except with free services. And doing all this unpaid work, well, it actually puts all of us into a brand new economic class. This is probably the biggest idea we're going to talk about today: the cognitive proletariat. So let's dig into what our new role in this digital economy really looks like. So, what in the world is the cognitive proletariat? Well, basically, it's us. It's this huge new class of modern digital workers. But we're not selling our physical strength anymore. We're not on an assembly line. Instead, we're selling our neural engagement. That's just a fancy way of saying our focus, our eyeballs, our brain power to these giant platforms. And our paycheck? Free access. And this quote right here from the source material just nails it. We do not sell our muscle. We sell our neural engagement. I mean, wow, how powerful is that? It just lays it all out, right there. The assembly line isn't for our bodies anymore. It's for our minds.
Okay, so we're workers. We're selling our attention. Got it. But how does that actually work? What are the nuts and bolts of this whole thing? Let's pop the hood on this invisible factory and see how our attention is literally being mined.
Yeah, there's a name for the process, of course: neural resource extraction. And I think that name is so telling because it's not neural service provision, right? It's extraction. It totally reframes the relationship. They're not just giving you a service, they are actively pulling a resource from your brain. Your ability to focus is the raw material, the crude oil that they're drilling for. And just like any other extraction process, this one has consequences. You know, think about old school mining. You pull valuable minerals from the earth, but you leave behind environmental pollution. It's the exact same idea here. These platforms extract our attention, and they leave behind their own toxic byproduct, something called cognitive depletion. It's basically mental pollution.
So what does that mental pollution actually feel like? Well, the source calls them industrial injuries, and I love that term because it means this stuff isn't your fault. That feeling of brain rot, that shrinking attention span, that constant digital fatigue where you just can't seem to focus on deep work, these aren't your personal failings. They're the predictable work-related injuries you get from toiling away in the attention mines. But here's where it gets even bigger, because this isn't just an individual problem. It's creating a massive split in society. We're going to call this the new attention divide, and it's basically a whole new class system built on cognitive endurance. And this table just lays out the divide so clearly. You've got two new classes emerging. On one side, you've got the cognitively wealthy. These are the folks who can afford what the source calls attention shields. They pay for premium ad-free services, they use ad blockers. Their outcome is protected focus. But on the other side, the cognitive poor. They're subjected to what's called attention fracking. I mean, what a term. They're stuck with the ad-supported models, the constant notifications. Their focus isn't just mind, it's strip mind. It's a really stark division. So where is all of this headed? What's the end game for this whole system? That brings us to our final point, and honestly, it might be the most important one. We need to talk about focus becoming a luxury good.
And here it is. If you take just one thing away from this whole explainer, please let it be this. In an economy that is literally designed to mine our focus, the simple ability to control your own attention, to decide where you want to place your mental energy, that is becoming the ultimate luxury good. It's a privilege that more and more you have to buy.
Which leaves us with one last big question to think about. In this invisible factory where you work every single day, in this economy built on neural extraction, what's the real price of your focus? And are you being paid what it's truly worth?